Don't forget, the Invincible podcast is coming to you live.
It's going to be taking place at the Islington Assembly Hall on Tuesday, the 23rd of May. Tickets are available right now. Click the link and get involved now.
Come and join us.
Come and join us indeed. Hi and welcome along to the Invincible podcast with my man Lee Judges in the building. Just to remind you about that big event live with an audience. And if you want to be in the audience, click the link in the description and get involved. Tickets selling fast for that event on the 23rd of May at the Islington Assembly Hall right here in North London. Come and join us for the Invincible podcast. We're going to have loads of guests on the day as well. Talking about the Arsenal, you do not want to miss it, right? This podcast is a very special one. So make sure you are part of the audience on the day. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be giving away a couple of tickets to it as well. But if you want to join us, get your tickets. They are selling fast. Also, later on in the show, I've got a couple of tickets to give away to go and see David Seaman. David Seaman, of course, legendary Arsenal goalkeeper. Ray Parler's going to be on that event as well. So if you want to win a couple of tickets to that, stay tuned here on the Invincible podcast to get more information. Lee, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm a little bit better than I was a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
You're not going to lie. I'm not going to lie.
I bought my drink in a can today, so they can't accuse me of bottling it.
Yeah, well, listen, I know there's like the banter and everything like that, but Arsenal not bottling this title, no way, and can I call him out now, you know what I mean?
Call it how you want, mate.
Hasselbank. It's a disaster, you know what I mean, if Arsenal don't win the league. I'll tell you what is a disaster, Mr. Hasselbank, spending £600 million and ending up in 10th and 11th out of Europe. That's a disaster,
True.
Right? Not coming second in the league to a machine like Manchester City, you know what I mean, going toe to toe with them, I mean, people get jobs.
To be fair, that narrative has been not just Hasselbank. I think Roy Keane said it on there.
Yeah,
and there's been a lot of people. There's been a lot of, not just pundits, there's been a lot of fans of other clubs, even some of our own fans saying, oh, we are bottling it. We are bottling the league because, we've dropped points over our last two games. Again, it was a 2-0 lead that we had, comfortable position that we gave up, and that's why they're saying we bottled it. I mean, I agree with you. I just feel that the word bottle and bottling it is not the right word to use right now when describing Arsenal after, the last 9 games we've played. We've won 7 and drawn 2.
Yeah. I'm furious about what happened on Sunday. I'm going to be honest, because you're 2-0 up cruising the game there. Is it arrogance? I think Jamie Carragher called it arrogance.
I think he was right.
I called it. I actually said at half time, didn't I? I said, you've got a team, and it's like, in a boxing, or whatever, you have got them floored. They're down. They was gone. Quiet. The crowd was quiet. Everything you wanted. Do not give them any encouragement whatsoever to get back in the game of football. And we've done it tenfold. And then we get the chance with a penalty, and we miss that. That can happen very, very at any stage and all that. I'm going to be really honest. I was down. I had to have a few beers after the game. I was like, not in a good place. I was walking past the river and I felt like jumping in.
It weren't that bad.
Okay, So I was thinking, but you know what I'm like. Can't watch Match of the Day. Still haven't watched Match of the Day. But I did catch Mikel's interview afterwards, and I don't know about anybody else, but it gave me a lift. Because he said everything that I was feeling. The one thing I didn't like what he said is when he turned around and said, the players have got to get ruthless and all that, which I agree with, but so has he. He has got to get ruthless as well. There was a couple of decisions on Sunday that he should have done. Saka, I love him. He's been brilliant all season. He didn't have a great game at Liverpool last week, but he was poor on Sunday. It happens. You can have a bad game every now and then. Your best players have a bad game. He was off the... Anything he'd done weren't happening, Robbie. You know what I mean? Forget about the penalty situation. He should have come off, and then because it just wasn't happening for him. That's when you've got to be ruthless. Make a ruthless decision. Now, he was ruthless with Smith Rowe a couple of weeks ago against Bournemouth, and it worked. Be ruthless yourself. Don't tell the players to be ruthless if you're not going to be ruthless yourself. That's my only criticism of the whole Mikel interview and all that. But I can tell you this now, it inspired me. I thought, yeah, he's right what we're saying. And the other thing about being bottlers and everything like that, like, you know what I mean, where are we in the league at the moment?
First.
And we're whatever happens at this moment in time, we're 1 point clear. Like, if they win their game in the end, we're still 1 point clear.
It doesn't. That result on the weekend didn't really change much. Still got to go to City.
Still got to go to City and get a result. It means that you've got to probably go to Newcastle or someone like that to win the league. But if you're going to win the league, you have to go to places, tough places, and win leagues and everything like that. The reason we're still top, right, is because what we've done in the past, it's meant that we can have a little blip and all that. Now, Manchester City might have a blip, but they can't afford to have a blip because of we've done what we've done. And for people to turn around and say, like, "Oh, get the custard on the crumble" and all that, like, you know, love it. Absolutely love it, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I've got Spurs fans having a go at me, like, you know what I mean?
Well, that one I couldn't believe, right?
It's incredible. They've just lost to Bournemouth at home.
That's when I realised that Spurs are back in their place, which is back in their box, where now they recognise that we are a way bigger team than them, because they just lost. They bottled it at home, right? They're winning the game, remember, against Bournemouth, right? They got back in the game against Bournemouth, and they're at home, and they lose that game 3-2, right? Lost the game, and then they got the cheek to be telling us about bottling it. No, sorry. Arsenal did not bottle, are not bottling the league.
I'm not going to mention his name. Harry, I'm not going to mention his name, right? Turned around and said to me, "Oh, you're bottling it, all that, like, you know what I mean?" And he said he's sold his season tickets, games for the rest of the season.
For Tottenham?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they're 4th, 5th in the league, like, you know what I mean? We didn't do that last year, did we?
No.
We didn't do that last year. You know what I mean? Like, because it's ridiculous worrying about what Arsenal do and all that. Like, I'll tell you what, I've got my mate, I went football Sunday, right? Yeah. I went into the dressing room, right? Yeah, they started singing Blue Moon, and they've got Oasis on the music, right? Like, you know what I mean? And I said, "Oh, what are you?" They said, "Oh, well, no, we're not Spurs fans, no, we're Man City fans." And I said, "Oh, what? Like, this afternoon you're a West Ham fan. Next week you're going to be a Southampton fan. They'll be having. I'll walk in next week. They'll have. Oh, when the Saints go marching in, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you know, like, we're not like that. You know what I mean? Back your own team. Worry about what you're doing."
Yeah, and they've still got, you know, the fact that they could get into the Champions League. So they've still got something to aim at. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
they celebrated last season. When we come out of White Hart Lane, the Tottenham ground, like, I see it all, they was all celebrating, having a party and all that. Like, and now it don't matter. Why don't it matter no more? Why don't it matter no more? Why, you know what I mean? Like, oh, we don't care if we don't get top 4 no more. Why? Why don't you care about getting top 4 no more? Because it ain't stopping us from getting top 4. That's the difference.
They're scared. They're scared. Listen, you got to realise this, right? That, like, every Tottenham fan, Man United fan, and, you know, the big rivals like that, Chelsea fans, they're all scared. They're all scared because they are realising that Arsenal are back.
Yeah.
Arsenal are back. For a long, long time, Arsenal have been in the absolute doldrums. Really, and since we moved into the stadium, we've won a few FA Cups, but we've not really challenged to win the league. They have seen this season Arsenal challenge to win the league. They have willed and hoped and wished that we'd fall apart. Every time we've had, like, one of these really difficult games come up, they're like rubbing their hands that they're going to crumble, they're going to fall apart. We've seen it all before. It's a false dawn, and it hasn't happened. And as the weeks go by, they've been like, you know, a Spurs mate will be tapping his Man United mate and going, "You know what, they might do it, you know?"
Yeah.
What are we going to say? They might do it, right? And it's at the same time that Arsenal are rising that you're seeing the decline. Not Man United. I wouldn't put Man United in that category because Man United, you know, they've won a trophy this season, and I'm going to get to that as well, right? They've won a trophy this season, and I would say Man United are a team on the rise.
Yeah, I would say that.
But if you look at Chelsea, that is a team in decline. I heard the other day Darren Bent on the radio made a great point when he said Chelsea Football Club are effectively, since they last won the league, is it 2016-17?
Yeah.
When Antonio Conte was there. He said that Chelsea Football Club have become a cup club. They no longer challenge for titles. And that's very true. If you look at Chelsea, how many points were they off last year? How many points were they off the year before that? They haven't been nowhere near winning the league since. And this season, they're not going to get top 4. They're not even going to get top 6. They're not even going to get in a Conference League, despite spending £600 million. They've got the owner of their club who knows nothing about football in their dressing room.
Yeah.
In their dressing room, calling them embarrassing. They are in the decline. Tottenham, they had their best years ever, particularly under Pochettino, where they had a good team, where they were challenging for the league, and they were challenging for this and and they won nothing. They won nothing. Out of their best period in their recent history, they have won zip. Absolutely nothing. They're probably going to lose their best player in Harry Kane in the summer. They're in decline. They've got no manager at the moment. They're in decline. So I look at them and I'm like, I get why you guys want us to bottle it and you want us to crumble, because your clubs are going nowhere. You're going nowhere. And then the United narrative, I think I heard Rio Ferdinand say this.
Big up Rio.
Big up Rio. I respect Rio all the time. But he was claiming that if Arsenal this season finished second and Man United, the only thing they won was the Carabao Cup, would have had a better season than Arsenal. Come on. Is that where Man United have got to? That the Carabao Cup, which you won basically by playing all your games at home against teams like Burnley and Reading,
Charlton,
right? That is a better achievement than Arsenal pushing the team that's been the champions for 4 out of the last 5 seasons all the way. And by the way, that's if we do come second, right? Because, we're still aiming to win the league. There's no way. For me, this season for Arsenal has been a successful season. It's been a brilliant, brilliant season. I want to see my team see it home. There is no doubt we've had a wobble over the past few games, but do not call it bottling it. Certainly not yet anyway, because I guess if we crumble from now till the end of the season,
lose to Southampton,
we lost a load of games and stuff like that, then I get it. Then you can say that, right? But at the moment, those 2 draws are not, 2 away games, by the way, are not crumbling, are not bottling it. It is a wobble, right? Which Gary Neville actually said, and I agreed with him when he said it's a wobble. This team, this Arsenal team this year, had it not been for us in the Premier League, and I think Ian Wright said this, quoting a few legends today. Yeah. No more than Ian Wright, big legend. Had it not been for Arsenal this season, this league would be like so one-sided, it would have been ridiculous. Yeah. All we would have seen every week was City racking up the points and Haaland scoring hat-trick after hat-trick after hat-trick. But despite Manchester City, who have won it 4 out of the last 5 seasons, bringing in the world's current best striker, who's broken the record for goal scoring in the Premier League. Despite that, we are still top of the league, and people got the cheek to talk about bottling it. Yeah. If it weren't for us, this league this season, it'd be almost like when you see the Bundesliga and Bayern just run away with it, or the French league where Paris Saint-Germain just run away with it. So stop calling us bottle jobs, right? We have been exceptional this season. Every Arsenal fan, embrace what the team's been doing this season. Be proud of what the team's been doing this season. We've only lost 3 games this season. Yeah, and we've been on a run the last 9 games since we lost to City. The last 9 games, as I said, 7 wins, 2 draws. Very tough to go to Anfield. It's tough to go to West Ham as well. But we didn't lose. Now, getting to the West Ham game, I'm with you. We threw it away. Yeah. That's not bottling it, but we threw it away because I agree with what you said there. We were complacent. Yeah, I said it at half time, didn't I? To me, summed up by the first goal, which, by the way, I'm still not convinced. I don't think if you used to watch it back on Match of the Day, I don't think you'd be happy. It weren't a penalty in my books, but it was given. But with Thomas Partey in that build-up, complacent. Yeah. He doesn't normally play like that. We've not seen him play like that this season. But that game it was almost like it was so easy. that they must have been thinking to themselves, bloody hell, this is a stroll in the park. But no, it's the Premier League. And we're up against a team that's fighting for their lives, getting embarrassed at home, 2 goals in 10 minutes, fans walking out, fans booing, fans getting on their case, right? They are going to fight for their lives. That is what it is now. Maybe that game earlier on in the season, 4-5-0. But when you got a team, and I said it even in my preview to that game, I go, this game kind of suits David Moyes in a way, because if he puts everybody behind the ball, the fans ain't not going to get on his back. They would have for other teams, but for playing Arsenal, they get it. They're like, we got it, right? And they just counted on us, and we just was sloppy, and we gave that goal away. Then we missed the penalty. It happens. You know what I mean? I'm not going to have a go at Saka, and by the way, I'm going to touch on something on that in a minute as well, right? But it happens, right? But we should have killed the game then. You know, didn't even hit the target with the penalty. It was a really poor one. And then we go and give away a stupid second goal. And, you know, to be honest, after that, they deserved to get a draw. We didn't deserve to. We didn't even do enough after that to try and get a winner. So we have to, you know what, Lee? I don't know. What do we do when we go 2-0 up? What should we do? Should we go and kill a game? Like go and be ruthless and say, right, we're chasing the third and the fourth, or is it a thing that we need to learn to say, right, you know what, we're 2-0 up, right, let's sit in for a bit, man. We see a lot of teams do it to us, innit?
Yeah.
Let's waste a bit of time. Let's slow the game down. Let's get, you know what I mean? What? Because it seems to me like we don't know how to kill it off.
I don't know really.
In them last 2 games.
What infuriated me was, more than anything, was they didn't learn their lesson. Like, they concede a goal a couple of minutes from half time against Liverpool, then do it again the following week at West Ham. I think is poor. Very. I think at the end of the day, listen, I watched Man City the other day when they was 3-0 up. Then they went off the gas
because game's over.
3-0 up. Arsenal went off the gas at 2-0. And thought, right, we'll stroll it around and all that. Like, that ain't good enough. You go to the end. It's realistically, if you want to do it, and they've done it at Fulham the other week, so they know what they're doing. They can do it. Went 3-0 up, and then that was it. Conserved energy for the next game. Don't do it at 2-0. 2-0 is a score line.
The old dangerous score line.
Dangerous score line, you know what I mean? You give them an opportunity to come back, which was happening. Listen, we got a lifeline with a penalty. I don't think it was a penalty, if I'll be honest, but, you know, like, it's just hit his arm. But you're giving it...
Oh, you're talking.
So, like...
You need to watch that match of the day. That was a blatant penalty. There was no complaints by either player.
So, like, you know... So it's given and whatever, like, and we should go 3-1 up and we win that game. But as I said at half time, you've given them an opportunity to come back into the game. You've given them, and anything can happen in a game of football. He misses the penalty, they go up the other end and score, and then you've got a scenario where you've got a team that, if I'll be really honest with you, West Ham would be delighted with a point. I think that point saves them.
The fans said before the game, you know what I mean? They'll take a point all day long.
All long. So
you're playing against the league leaders.
So you've got a point. They've got a point. So what are they going to do, Robbie? What are they going to do? They're going to fight tooth and nail to keep that point. And they did. They defended very, very well.
They were very well organised.
It looked like on the break that they could nick something. And that was exactly what we didn't want to do. And we put ourselves in a position where we could have just coasted that game. And that is the annoying thing for me. Liverpool game, even with that, like, you know what I mean, like, you could turn around and say, look what Liverpool have done against Leeds, you know what I mean? You can turn around and say, like, you know,
what they did against Man United.
That one
was forgivable.
That was forgivable. Slightly more forgivable than that one. But
the one
this one here is thrown away 2 points.
They'll be kicking themselves. They'll be absolutely kicking themselves.
You know what I mean? Like, but listen, it happens.
Yeah,
it happens in all sorts of football.
It happens in a run-in as well, innit?
You know
what I mean? This thing is, as a lot of people just think you just get a perfect run-in where you got 8 games to go, you win all 8.
Yeah, but, you know, they're going about Manchester City, like, you know what I mean? Well, Manchester City were 2-0 up with 2 minutes to go against Real Madrid in the semi-final of the Champions League last season and ended up losing. Yeah. So, you know, it can happen to the best of teams. So don't. You know what is now is that the next time Arsenal go 2-0 up, I expect 3 and 4. If Arsenal, I will be very, very disappointed if Arsenal get to 2-0 against Southampton and then like let them back in it like 2-1 or whatever. I expect to see a ruthlessness from this team on Friday. And listen, you know, it is disappointing because you know how well we was playing in that first 10-15 minutes. It was brilliant, you know what I mean? Like, they're knocking it back. This is the Arsenal you want to see and everything, like, you know. So at the end of the day, you cannot, and I think Arsenal, if I'll be really honest about it, took the mickey out of the opposition. Thought, like, you know, you know, we've got this.
Complacent.
And that has got to be drummed out of them now and never ever happen again, because even when you're the best team in the league, it don't matter who you are, you can be found out, because these are professional footballers. They're not no mugs. You know what I mean? Like, and I looked at that West Ham team, and you know what I mean? They should be nowhere near where they are in the league. They've got some good players, so you can't take liberties with these teams, any team. And I think we took the liberties and got punished for it. Don't let it happen again. Now we've got, you know, we've got to go up to Newcastle. Maybe it's a good thing, Robbie, because we can't take liberties at Newcastle.
And there's
now.
no buffer.
We can't take liberties anywhere.
They've got a saying in life. They say, "Burn the boats."
Yeah.
Right. An old saying where it's like, "Burn the boats." So you've got no plan B.
Yeah.
There's no backup plan. Right, so you've got to go with plan A, which is right. No, we've got to go to City and get something.
Yeah.
We have to go to Newcastle and win. And sometimes that inspires you to do bigger things. When you've got a backup plan sometimes, oh, don't worry, because we can go there and we don't have to win.
Yeah,
we can go there and we don't have to win there. And then next minute, you start even losing games that you were supposed to win and stuff like that. So now it's clear now.
It's very, very
clear.
clear.
You want this, and if the Arsenal players want this, it's clear what you've got to do. You've got to go to City and do something.
And the good thing about City, if we beat Southampton, is that if we can go toe-to-toe with Man City, like, it'd be a great game of football. I can tell you that now, it'd be a great game, because they ain't going to hold back the normal way. But if there is a couple of minutes to go and we've smashed each other up, like, you know what I mean, we can afford to say, all right, okay, we're going to sit, and you try and make the mistake, like, and then we could hit them on the break, like, you know what I mean? So, you know, what we've got to do now is to just go and beat Southampton now and put ourselves in a position where I think we'd be 7 points clear going into that game. I think we're 4 points clear now. They haven't got a game. So, yeah, we go to the Etihad, 7 points.
7 points, yeah.
7 points.
Because they got the FA Cup this week.
Yeah, so, like, you know, that's what we've got to do.
Yeah.
We've got to do it, and then if we can get something from that game, then we can, like, reset again, like, you know. So, listen, it's disappointing against West Ham, like, you know, coming out there, fans giving it to us and all that, like, you know what I mean. Good luck against Ghent, you know what I mean. But, like, but listen, you know, and another thing, which has been always stated, you know, that's a London derby, like, you know, they don't want to lose to Arsenal.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's rivalry. You know, and they don't want us turning up on their patch and taking the mickey and all that, like, you know, and we wouldn't like it if it was the other way round. So you have to accept that you can't. It happens.
And, you know, I mean, just going back to like the Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank thing and that, I just felt that, you know, these guys are just trying to make headlines. You know what I mean? Like what he did, innit? Because we're talking about him today. To me,
I'll tell you what, it got my goat up.
Yeah, to me, he's just exaggerating that, because, you know, I remember when, you know, Man City beat us the next week. They went to Nottingham Forest, right? They were 1-0 up, cruising as well.
No one said
absolutely cruising in that game, conceded and drew 1-1. Did anyone say, "Oh, Pep, you bottled it"? No. So come on, man.
You know,
these things have to be put in the right context. The word "bottle" is not the right word. We threw it away. We it's a wobble, you know. And then another thing I have to touch on from that game that really disgusted me, right, was Bukayo Saka getting racially abused after the game. I don't know if you saw the thing, Lee, right?
Ridiculous.
It's disgusting, right? This guy that has been our best player this season, right?
For 3 years.
Absolutely unbelievable. Last season before, every time he puts that shirt on, he gives absolutely everything for this club. The one mistake he makes, that's the first penalty I've seen him missing an Arsenal shirt. The one mistake he makes, there's fans or a fan, or I think there was a couple in a minute, who think that they can racially abuse him. His colour is all of a sudden a problem. It wasn't a problem when he was scoring goals. He was our guy Bukayo, star boy, right? Now he misses a goal. He's a monkey. He's an N-word. Listen, this is disgusting. Well done to Arsenal for blocking that account, but more needs to be done on social media. when you've got people like this, they should never ever be able to tweet or post again. That should be it. You're done. You're done out. I don't want to hear no more excuses about racism. This is 2023 and we're still talking about this bullshit, right? These guys should be taken off of social media, yeah? And as I said, well done to Arsenal for blocking him. They want to have nothing to do with him. You're not an Arsenal fan. You're not a football fan. You're just a racist. That's all you are. And I don't want, honestly, it really upset me. And to see that guy's purportedly an Arsenal fan, just for some of those people who think that, we always look at it and think, oh, no, other clubs, and think, we got some of them here as well, right? You're not an Arsenal fan. You're not an Arsenal fan. You're a disgrace. So, with your little fake accounts and stuff like that, you see too much of it. Yeah. I get it, Lee. I get people coming at me with racist stuff. It's disgusting, right? But Bukayo Saka, hold your head up, man. You know that the Arsenal fan base, black, white, Asian, whatever colour, whatever religion, are all behind you
100%.
Because they love you as a player. Colour doesn't come into it for me.
No,
you
never
are
has done for me.
As soon as you put that shirt on, you're an Arsenal player, right? And you represent this club week in, week out, and you give the best for this club week in, week out, right? And you have been since you were a little kid coming through the ranks, and you do not deserve anybody to come at you in that way, whatever happens. If you got to miss 5 penalties, we can be angry with you, you can be upset, say, oh, come on, Saka. But what your colour should never come into it. So I just thought I'd have to bring that up, man, because it really disgusted me to see that after the game. And, enough is enough on this bullshit, you know what I mean? And it's got to take action on these guys.
Well, yeah, and the way to start it is like in social media. I don't care about it. Like, if
they don't do enough, do they, Lee?
No, they don't do enough. If you've got an account, right, my account, your account, it's genuine, you know what I mean? Like, and it, so whatever you say, can be, and all these fake, what are you doing all these fake accounts?
Shut off they got the IP addresses.
Yeah.
Lock that off. So that IP address, even I've heard people say before, oh yeah, but that could be a kid in that house who did that, right? By the way, went through the trouble to do a graphic, right? But they're like, it could be a kid in that house that did that, and then it locks off everybody else's account in that house. Too bad. Then you should never. You should never have a social account. It's like a bank account, isn't it? You got, or a passport. If you want to be on social media and interact with famous players and people and like that, there should be a responsibility towards that, like, because what you're doing is like ruining it for the normal people that want to talk to a player and he responds and whatever, like, So I just think it's just common courtesy and things like that, like. But like, this is something's got to be done about it. Look, it's like a passport. You cancel a passport, isn't it?
Yeah, like,
you just cancel a
like season ticket or whatever, like, you know what I mean? Something's got to be done about it. Like, listen, I'm a middle-aged bloke that's come for all of the racism stuff when we was younger and everything like that, like, you know what I mean? So there's no excuse for it. I don't see Saka as I don't even see him like, like he's a black player, but you know what I mean? So what? So what?
Player.
You know what I mean? He's a player. Or he plays for football. Same as whoever it will be, Jimmy Hasselbank or whoever, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You don't do that. Now listen, from Saka's point of view, I think. Why would you want to have a go at him anyway?
He missed the penalty.
He's missed the penalty.
Yeah,
why get on social media and have a go at him about it anyway? Like,
it happens, right? And ridiculous. Salah missed 2 penalties in a row, innit?
Yeah,
but
I suppose he's got a bit probably about from his Muslim connections. I don't know, but why would you want to do it?
It's disgusting. But then the next week they'll be singing Mo Salah.
Yeah, and the other thing is, Robbie, which I'm going to say this to like Saka's not going to listen to this, but if I ever spoke to him, I'm annoyed with him, right? For apologising. You ain't got nothing to apologise for. Why are you apologising for missing a penalty? Listen, you know what I mean? You're in a privileged position to be playing for the Arsenal. You're in a privileged position to be taking that penalty. You know what I mean? Like, none of us can do what you do, right? So why are you apologising? I ain't got nothing to apologise for.
No,
me
he didn't
about.
need to apologise. You're right.
No way,
You're right.
didn't need to apologise. You know what I mean? Like just go out there in the next couple of games and do your best. That's all we ask.
That's all we ask, man. Friday night.
Friday night.
Win the game, right? Friday
if
night.
he's on a penalty, good luck to you. I'm backing you. You take that penalty on Friday night because I tell you what, I want him to have a penalty, and I want him to say Manchester City away from home. If we've got a penalty, I don't want him to say, "Oh, I'll give it to somebody else." You take it, Saka, because you have been the one against Liverpool and whenever took these penalties and have carried this club and this football team for 3 years. So don't you apologise for nothing. Don't you ever lose your bottle on whatever. Take the penalty and be for it. He is a wonderful, wonderful footballer, right? And you know what I mean, disappointed that he's missed the penalty and all that, but I don't blame him for missing that penalty. Thomas Partey can be blamed for it and all that, but Thomas Partey's another one that's been superb for us all season. He's made a mistake. Mistakes happen. But what we've got in this moment in time, we can still rectify those mistakes.
Exactly. You can look back at the end of the season and remember that penalty you missed? Ah!
Yeah.
Right, that's you want to get to that vibe. But big game this weekend now. Now, if we lose this one,
or draw, bottle jobs. The word bottle can come into it then, Robbie. I'm going to say that now. They're bottom of the league, dead and buried. They're out of it. They're you know what I mean? They went out a wimp against Crystal Palace, right, at the weekend. You know, they're dead and buried, right? Come on. No excuses for this one. We're at home. And if we don't win this game, that's a different scenario.
I was looking at some of the stats around this game. Arsenal have never lost in 23 Premier League home games against Southampton. They've won 16, drawn 7. The most one-sided, the most one side has hosted against another without losing in the competition. So it's like at home, we've got our best record against Southampton.
Oh, well, that's good.
And they're bottom of the league. I mean,
fill your boots because it ain't going to happen after this season, is it?
We have. It's a weird one with Southampton because when we go away,
it's a tough place to go
because they're one of the few teams who have taken a point off of us this season.
Yeah, well, and that was down to refereeing, wasn't it? But listen,
we drew that game against Southampton.
I've never liked going to Southampton. Have you? There's something about Southampton since. You go back in the old days, the old Dell weren't the greatest place in the world, but I've never really liked the St Mary's Stadium. There's something about it I don't like. I don't know what it is. And we've never done great down there, if I'll be honest. So, but there's lots of teams like that are good at home and poor away, aren't there? Forest are another one like that. Dare I say it, up until the other day, Liverpool. You know what I mean? Listen, I don't want no 2-0 up. I expect us to go on and win 3 or 4. I expect Arsenal to put on a performance on Friday.
Friday night, all eyes are going to be on Arsenal.
Yeah.
Southampton will come. They might. I'm going to be interested to see how they're going to play it. Are they going to come and try and frustrate, or are they going to come and try and be on the front foot like what Bournemouth were at the start of the game? It's going to be really interesting to see. But Arsenal have an opportunity here to get 3 points on the board and move 7 points clear of Man City. I mean, everybody just assumes City wins their game in hand. And
which
then,
is Brighton, Brighton away, by the way.
Or it could be West Ham, isn't it?
West Ham and Brighton. Well, no, they have two. We have two. So it'd be West Ham at home and Brighton away.
Yeah, everyone just assumes they'll win that. You never know. So we've got to make sure that we win this game. Now, as I said, we've got unbelievable record against Southampton. We've got unbelievable record at home. We won our last 4 home games. We're scoring goals at home. You know what I mean? And I think the game coming on Friday, so soon, we don't have to wait fully to the weekend. I think it's perfect for Arsenal. There's just no excuses at all around the game.
There's always that nervousness away from home. There is, because you're away from home.
You're away from home. It's a different dynamic away from home.
Of course it is, you know what I mean? It's different when you're at home, you know what I mean? So I feel a little bit more, there's always the worry of going away. The Liverpool game, I was nervous right all the way through to the kick-off, you know what I mean? And then nervous going into the game against West Ham, you know what I mean? I'll be honest, even at 2-1, I said to you, this game's not done, you know what I mean, at 2-1. But when I'm at home, I'm a little bit more confident because, we are at home. And I'm sorry, if you cannot beat the bottom of the league team at home, you know what I mean, when you're going for the title. Now listen, we done it in '89 against Derby. We didn't do it like, you know what I mean. But
we did, and we still won the title.
Yeah, we still won the title. But you know, we need to win this one. This is a massive game.
I think the context of this one is, number one, they're bottom of the league. We're still playing well. We're still scoring goals, and everybody expects us to wipe the floor with them, and we should do, right? Because, you know, they're coming off again another defeat at the weekend. You know, 2 put past them at home. They're rock bottom. We've got to take advantage of this. We've got to win this game. But also, we need a bit of confidence going into that game against Manchester City, because we face Manchester City on next week, Wednesday. Don't want to be going in that game on the back of a draw or a loss. Don't want to be going in that game on the back of a negative performance. You want to be going into that game feeling good about yourself. The past couple of games, as I said, because we've dropped those points, there'd be a lot of self-doubt creeping into some players. There might be some players saying, well, can we actually do this? Because we have, the past couple of weeks, thrown away good leads and stuff like that. But as I said, it's that kind of win the game, get the job done against Southampton, and then you go into that game against City next week, and it's all to play for. And I said, it's like that. We've burnt the boats, you know what I mean? There's no plan B. There's no coming back. We have to go and win that game. And that must be really exciting for a player to know that you're going there, and then, if we go and we do our best against City, this could be the moment that, you know.
Look, win Friday, and then I'm buzzing for Wednesday. I'm really looking. You know, we're going up there, and we'll look forward to it. You know what I mean? Like, what will happen will be. But I'm going there with, you know, not confidence, but like, you know, like I feel that we've got a good chance. Listen, over the last few years, we've gone up there as damage limitation, but I see enough in the FA Cup game to say that we can scare them. We can get something from the game. Why not? I'll say it now, like, you know what I mean? I've got slagged off a little bit of it, saying that, you know, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich and all that. I'm not saying that we're better than them, those teams. What I'm saying is, I think we've got a better chance of getting a result against Man City than anybody else. With our 11, I think we can go up there. I think that Manchester City will probably win every league game. But the one game that I don't think that they would be 100% sure about is us. Because we have players that can hurt them. We have players, you know, like Jesus. How good was he again the other day? By the way, like, you know what I mean, was sensational. Saka's not been great the last couple of games. I'm backing him to be at his best. Martinelli, the little bit of a question I asked you the other day. You know what I mean? I thought was sensational against Liverpool in the first half. Sensational against West Ham. Where was he in the second half? I'm not saying it's his fault, but, you know, come on, Mikel, sort that out. You know, he's got to be doing it for two halves, and not one half. And you know, I feel if we beat Southampton, I think we'll get something from Man City. I really do. I'm not saying we could actually. I know it sounds silly, but we could go and get a result against Man City, still not win the league. We know that. You know,
it's about time, though, isn't it, Lee? It's about time.
Yeah, I fancy it.
I feel like when we went to Tottenham this year, I was like, in my mind, I was saying it's about time we came here and beat them, because we got a horrible record here. You know, this is another one of these teams where I'm looking at and say it's about time, because basically they've spanked us like for the last God knows how many seasons, and it's home and away. They've, you know, and I look at that first game when we played them, and I was like, again, we just gave away that game. Remember
mistakes,
the Tomiyasu mistake, and the this and that. Now we've got to learn from that. They're an unbelievable side with Haaland up front, and Grealish has been on fire, but we've been on fire as well, and we can go up there. This is a heavyweight clash. This is what goes back to me when I'm talking about people talking about bottling it, or people talking about, you know, better seasons and that. Right now, the two best teams in the league next week, Wednesday, will come head to head, and it will be like watching a heavyweight boxing clash. It's Tyson Fury and AJ.
Everybody's, you know what I mean?
It's the game that the whole world wants to see. And these are what we've been craving for years as Arsenal fans. This is what we want to be involved in. Normally at this time of the season, we're a bit like what's happened to Chelsea, where the season's over. I mean, you know, a couple of seasons ago, I was just like, yeah, you know, just hurry up and get the season done, man. You know what I mean? You coast through the last few games and let's just go again in the summer. But at the moment, I'm so excited. I'm excited for Friday night against Southampton. I'm excited about next week, Wednesday, you know? I'm just like excited about what this team can achieve going forward, even in the future, beyond this season. I'm excited about next year in the Champions League and the type of teams we'll be playing and how that stadium's going to be rocking. And I'm excited. This is what this team has brought to me this year.
100%. And do you know what? That's a great point you make there. I think we're one or maybe 2 wins away from guaranteeing Champions League football. Right? Are we going to be celebrating it?
No.
Why?
No. Because we got a bigger prize we're chasing. That's why. That's what I'm saying.
So we're not,
it's such a big season.
I remember a few years ago. Do you remember going to Newcastle one? You remember when Koscielny scored and all celebrating because we got top 4? You know what I mean? And other times we've celebrated or been disappointed when we ain't got it, like, you know. But we're going to get it in the next week or so. You know, it could happen after Southampton game. You know what I mean? That we get it, but we're not going to celebrate it because it's done and done. You know that is.
Nobody's been talking about top 4.
No,
even since Christmas, no one's like.
So what an achievement!
It's an unbelievable achievement. It's an unbelievable achievement, and it's something that we can all be proud of.
When you think about it at the beginning of the season, like, and I'll tell you that our things have gone right. Beginning of the season, like, you know what I mean, like, where would you put Arsenal? 5th, 6th? You know what I mean, like, you know, people would have been hesitant to put you in 4th, right?
No one had us in 4th.
Yeah, no. I'm going to say that you go all those pundits and all that, like, Mr. Hasselbank, like, I bet he didn't have us in our top 4.
Oh,
like,
he'd have Chelsea.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean. So, you know, I know it's funny, like, you know. So none of them had that. Then halfway, even after 10 games, if you said we're going to be challenging for the league, people would have took the mickey out of you. If you said you was going to get top 4, people would have took the mickey out of you, like, you know what I mean. And then all of a sudden now, you come to now. All those things that you're saying, like, we're definitely going to get top 4. We've still got a good chance, and we could still win this league. I'm going to say it now. I ain't ashamed to say it. Arsenal could still win this league.
Of course
I'm saying that after 31 games. Can anybody else say that after 31 games?
Do you remember? I'm going to roll you, just to show you how far this team's come. I am going to roll you right back to the start of the season. We're talking about the possibility of winning a league, right? Most people didn't even think we'd win our first game.
Well, yeah, right? Crystal Palace. Right,
away at Crystal Palace on a Friday night, put there as the first game of the season for a reason.
Yeah.
Because the TV company in Sky thought to themselves, you know what? Palace first game. Yeah. Here's an upset. Let's put that game on a Friday. First game of the season. Let's remember what happened the previous season with Brentford when Arsenal lost that game on the first day. This is perfect. And we went there on that first game and it was a signal of intent. That first game when Arsenal blew away Crystal Palace, that was a signal of intent that, hey,
we've got a chance.
This is a different side this year. And ever since that first game, right up to now, we have been proving everybody wrong. And we've just got to keep doing that.
Great point. And we was very, very lucky to be out in America. And we come away from that American tour and we said, we'll beat Palace.
Yeah.
We did say that because we'd seen it, like, you know. I remember going with a couple of my mates and I said, you wait till you see Saliba. You wait till you, because they've not seen him, like, you know what I mean. You wait till you see this. You wait till you see Jesus. You know, there's a definite thing about Arsenal, like, over the time. Yeah, and people turn around and say, you can't tell in pre-season. You can. Not saying you're going to win the league or not, but you can pick up a vibe. And we picked up.
But we saw how bad Chelsea were in pre-season.
Yeah, and we did well. Exactly, like, you know what I mean. Like, we actually beat, was it 4-0? We beat them that day, like, you know, and you know they would have. I'll tell you what, you walked away from that American tour. Everybody would have. If you'd have said, like, everybody would have still said Chelsea would come above Arsenal. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, you know, so again, we won't give no credit for that, like, but that's another thing. But what we've done is we've all the way through this season we've been given hurdles to jump, like, you know what I mean. Liverpool at home sorted it out. Manchester United. The only one hurdle we've not done is Manchester City. And I'll tell you the game against Manchester City, like, when we go up there next Wednesday, we need every single player available. And I mean that's Saliba.
I was going to ask you about the Saliba thing. Are you worried about this? Because, you know,
I think he's done.
You know, when you think about it, like all season, that partnership of Saliba and Gabriel has been brilliant. And even though Rob Holding's come in and he's done well, he's still, you've taken away a component of that system that's worked so well this season. And
not only that component, I watched the game on Sunday. Ben White don't go as forward as much. Ben White, how many times has he overlapped Saka during the game, right? Hasn't done it the last 2 games in away from home, and Saka's been not as good, because what happens is Ben White bombs down that right. The defender, does he go with him or not? That little split second when he thinks he might have to go for Ben White, that's when Saka turns in. Ben White's not been making those runs because he knows that he hasn't got the cover of a Saliba behind him, so he's had to be a little bit more cautious.
Just a lot more quicker than
he's a lot more quicker. He's a lot. So what happens then is, there's nothing against Rob Holding. People keep going, Rob Holding's not good enough.
He's done well, but he's just a different type of defender.
Yeah, Rob Holding is not a first choice central defender at Arsenal, and that's the reason why. Is because the reasons are there. The second one is that Saliba is also very, very good on the ball. If you have a look at the game against Fulham, whereas boxed in at one stage, he gets the ball out to Xhaka, and we go on and get the goal from Martinelli. He hasn't got that ability, so we're losing 2 fronts. And not only is he defending, also his capabilities on the ball as well. So I do think, coming up to the game against Man City, I think that he may have to have a little rethinking now. And it may be I've got no problem with Rob Holding playing Friday. Well, I've got a problem with Rob playing because I want Saliba playing.
Holding did actually do well in that first half against Ireland.
He did do very well. Yes, he did very well.
I remember he got a yellow card.
But he done very well because he's physical. It may be that the physical side of the game will suit him. Listen, if Rob Holding has to play, then please, Arsenal fans, just get behind him. I've heard he's cost us the league. He hasn't cost us the league. It's unfortunate, that he's not been there. But listen, we conceded goals.
Cost us the league.
Yeah,
You said that.
I know, it's unreal, isn't it? We've conceded goals with Saliba in the team, by the way. But Zinchenko's got to play in his next couple of games.
Yeah, we missed Zinchenko the other day.
Just getting control of the game.
Just because he knows that role a lot better than Kieran Tierney.
Tierney's not naturally.
That's
he's not
a
natural at doing that. He's a defender and defends really, really well. But I see him going into that inverted left back, like what he was trying to do. It's just not naturally his game. What I like about Tierney, he's a proper defender. What I would like to see is Arsenal go 1-0 up, 2-0 up, and then him coming on and defending
Well, he was on the other day for that second goal. That was kind of... he got caught out of it for that goal as well.
So, he did get caught out.
Listen, it's going to take a collective effort, but it's got to start this week Friday. Definitely got to start this week Friday in that game against Southampton. By the way, I got these tickets to give away.
Yes.
David Seaman. David Seaman, by the way, is going to be appearing. Let me just give you where it's happening. It's on Monday, the 24th of April at the Clapham Grand. All right, there's meet and greet tickets available as well. What we do, we'll put the link in the description for this one as well. It's Seaman Says Live. That's his podcast, and he's going to have Ray Parlour as a special guest. We've got 2 tickets to give away for that. You got a question?
Yeah, we've got a question. What team did Arsenal sign David Seaman from?
Okay. What team did Arsenal sign David Seaman from? If you know the answer, let us know in the comments section, and we will pick one out randomly, and we'll give you a pair of tickets. Obviously, you've got to be based in the UK, or if you're not based in the UK, you've got to have means to get to the Clapham Grand on Monday, the 24th of April, and you can see David Seaman and Ray Parlour live. All right, so make sure you check that out. Also, don't forget, we've got our live podcast that is coming your way on the 23rd of May. 23rd of May at Islington Assembly Hall. We are currently assembling all the guests that are going to be in. We've got some good guests coming on to that. It's going to be brilliant. Now, we're hoping that we're in a position at the time.
It's going to be a party.
It'd be a big party if we're in that sort of position where we could win the league. But even if not, we're going to be discussing the season. We're going to be talking about the big issues, and we want you to be in the audience, right? So get your tickets for it right now. They're selling really fast. Get your tickets for it. The 23rd of May at Islington Town Hall. Me and Lee up on the stage there with a load of guests. And also we'll be pulling some of you guys out in the audience as well. We'll be doing a nice little Q&A as well. So listen, I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be massive. Southampton, what's your prediction?
4-0.
We always concede at home, don't it?
Not this time.
4-1.
4-1.
4-1 I'll go.
Not ruthless enough, Robbie. Not ruthless enough.
I'll tell you what, the one thing in that Southampton game, we've got to remember, Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, dangerous.
Don't be getting him into situations where he can get free kicks.
Yeah.
Or loads of corners where he's whipping the ball in. And they've got a couple of good players, you know what I mean? Southampton, they've got some very good little players on the break and that, Theo Walcott, pace and things like that.
A young side, aren't they?
Yeah, we've got to guard against that, but we've got to be ruthless. There's a team at the bottom of the table fighting for their, I mean, they could be...
I expect Arsenal to be ruthless.
They could be gone if they lose that game.
I'm expecting us to be ruthless, and I want us to be ruthless. Please, Arsenal, be ruthless.
Be ruthless. All right, Lee, thanks, mate.
No worries.
We don't even know what to do. Handshake, fist, whatever it is. Big up to you guys. Don't forget to check out all of our content this week leading up to that Southampton game. Loads of previews and reviews. Also, on the day, I'll be speaking to fans outside the game. And, of course, we'll be doing our watch-along live here in the studio and our full-time show where you guys can be part of the action. No matter where you are around the world, if you download the app AFTV Plus, you can use FANZONE and you can come on and be a part of the show in video. So make sure you do that on Friday night, right? So looking forward to seeing you guys. Big game on Friday. Hopefully, big win. Put our feet up for the rest of the weekend and get ready for that big one next week, Wednesday against Man City. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget you can download this podcast on all your normal formats. And as I said, click the link in the description once again to get your tickets for the live Invincible podcast, live with an audience of you guys on the 23rd of May. Thank you very much. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.